All right, bless you. Bless us all on this blessed day, Thursday. What is it? Thursday, September 27th, which we may remember. I don't know. All right, people. So, lots of power law stuff. We've had a bit of a festival with that. You know, we went through, what did we do? Lots of, just the very existence of all these scaling laws, and then power law size distributions, and then this sequence of possible origins, right? So random walks giving us some kinds of special kinds of power law size distributions and scalings and so on. Variable transformation was a big one. That's something we'll come back when we talk about robustness, actually. We'll use that again. And then we had the toy model of Simon. So it's a growing process. That's a really fundamental one. It's everywhere. Fantastic thing. I think I tweeted a piece, sort of an addendum to what we were talking about the other day. That doesn't work. With Rich Get Richer being everywhere in social media, right? So I think if I type this, tweets, nope. Let me bring that up. And where is it? Okay, tweets. Okay, yeah, I guess it's here. All right, so yeah, it was this one. Instagram has a drug problem. Algorithms make it worse, right? So this is about, you know, ads going in the wrong way. We actually have an old, not an old paper. We have a paper on e-cigarette advertising when it started to take off on Twitter. It was just horrendous. And of course, it's become a big problem. Okay, so that was an add to that. All right, but we're talking about mechanisms, and then we have this optimization story of Mandelbrot, which may well hold up in all sorts of interesting ways, and we'll come back to that. Optimizing things maybe according to risk. That's not the framing he had, but that's, I think, a big feature for complex systems. So that Lagrange multiplier setup, very common sort of construction and technique for deriving an optimal state of a system or whatever thing you're working on. We'll come to that. That will come back again as well. So there are a couple of nice pieces that recur in that way. I think I want to insert a few different pieces here. We're going to talk about what I would call fundamentals for a while. Of course, we had the introduction. We had a manifesto, which hopefully is a thing you vaguely believe in. And there are all these other pieces that I wanted to, like emergence and statistical mechanics and so on. So we'll talk about those in the next couple of lectures, I think. Because it is this very strange time in science, really, I think. A great time, it's a renaissance time, but this big data thing has sort of really upended a lot of the approaches that we've had before. You know about this, but it really is, it's really extraordinary. So we'll process that a little bit. All right, so I have a few things, extra things in here to say. I want you to see this is really important. Let's see, back to, yes. So Australian Rules Grand Final is on this weekend for fans of true sport, which is the football I grew up with. So it goes back into the late 1800s, and I'm going to show you some highlights from this game. It's Collingwood Magpies versus the West Coast Eagles, so from Perth, and no one knows where Perth is. Perth is vastly away from everywhere else in the world. So they're playing on the weekend. But let's just play some random.
Beauty! That is unbelievable. High ball, not going to be a goal.
So you're allowed to do this routinely. This is pretty great. Yes. This is basically my entire childhood in the winter is doing this. So much fun.
Haven't had enough yet. Tip it.
Look at that. That was good. There was 1 year ago where a guy did something very bad in the background. Of course, video had just started, right? So turned out those things he used to do not so good. I think there were court proceedings for that.
He's come from 30 metres away.
Yeah.
The crowd will enjoy the replay. He's
just crushed that guy.
Shoulders, tipping and
we'll watch one more. This is the top 50 by someone.
Classic Birdman.
It's inside the 50. Thompson will fly.
So great. Which is a cricket reference, so that won't help. Let's give you one more. This is a classic. This is the 970 Grand Final. This is like the Super Bowl 970, middle of the ground. Jezelenko. So this guy
oxygen. Now, Kappa.
Bringing oxygen. So that's a 1970. Oh, I watched that one. I watched many of these live. So he's incredibly famous, and so this is if someone took a spectacular mark, which would be a specky, you call it a Jezza or a Jezelenko. Anyone jumps on someone else is like Jezelenko. It just became the synonymous with it. But it goes back into history. Anyway, that's just part of it. The kicking is amazing. You have to kick both sides 60 meters and stuff like that. So it's a fantastic game. Obviously, there's a lot of violence involved as well, which is problematic. But it is a so 36 players on the field, 200 yards long. They're cricket grounds actually, so it's what they play on. Anyway, we invented that. There's some internationals occasionally with Ireland which never go well because they play Gaelic football with a round ball, different thing, and that I think there were too many fights there as well. But anyway, when it goes well, spectacular. So you're welcome to watch that.